Hey, hello everybody. I'm live. You know what? I better check my internet. I think I'm okay. Hi, there's three of you with me. I'm so excited you're on here. Sorry for my hand right in front. I have used. Hi, Kathleen. Hey, Melody. Thanks for joining me. It's Stories Come Alive, and it's my first time of doing this on YouTube Live. I'm switching over with Melody's console to do this on YouTube Live instead of on Facebook Live, and then I'll share it all over. So today is my sixth day of doing the sixth week. I skipped last week, and this is my sixth week of doing this. I'm trying to get myself close here. And we're on page 42 only of this big book called D. Gary Young, The World Leader and Essential Oils. And what's so great, hey, Christy, what's so great about this story is it gives you the nuts and bolts of why we love Young Living Essential Oils so much as a product, as a company, as the founder of the man, what makes us different. You love all my oils in the background? I know I had to clean off my shelves. I had to clean for everyone today because I've just been so excited to make some changes in what I'm doing that I have projects everywhere. So thanks for noticing my beautiful oils back there. So today it's the first real distillery in 1994. So this is the background. This is what makes Young Living different than all these other companies out there. And I get that question a ton. And really, this book that you can find on lifesciencepublishers.com is a great coffee table book. And it's great to open up and go, wow, I'm a part of something so amazing. So I'm just going to start reading. We stopped at this picture last time. So this is part three of the distillation process going on here. So here we go. In the summer of 1994, Gary began the construction of his fourth distiller, but this time it was to be a real distillery. He logged and peeled the white fir trees growing on the farm, prepared the ground, rented equipment, pounded the logs into the ground with the bucket on the excavator, and began construction of his first stationary stainless steel vertical steam distiller. He had only one 3,500 liter extraction chamber in which the first lavender, clary sage, peppermint, thyme, and tansy were distilled. Because it took so long to steam clean after each different crop, Gary could see the need for more cookers. The distillery grew as Gary had more cookers fabricated to meet the demand of the increasing amounts and different types of plant material that needed to be distilled. So here are the pictures. Here we go. Gary cut and sized the logs for the support beams of the new distillery. The land was later transformed into lavender field and then eventually planted into Melissa. That's the this picture right here. This is the Idaho farm, and I've been there, and it's all lavender and Melissa now, which is beautiful sight. You can see it on my website. Gary worked, here's this bottom picture. Gary worked in the garage that was the perfect place for fabrication, and it was only 2 minutes away from the site. So this is a story of a man that did this himself. Can you tell? Like, it's fabulous. There's a ton of pictures I'm going to show today. I think it's fun to have a picture book. So Gary's early design for steam injection that he continued redesigned and is very different today. So there's one of his first ones. There's Gary built with logs because the concrete was too expensive. Here we go is another one. Again, a one-man band, but now almost 20 years later, hundreds of people work in the distilleries around the world. So we started with one man and now it has grown. Awesome. Up there, the wet distilled clary sage weighed about 1,200 pounds when lifted out by the tractor, but that definitely was not going to work in the future. No, a tractor no longer does it. It's the bigger machine that lifts that product out of the distillers now. It's a fascinating process to be part of the distillation, and I feel so blessed that I've gotten to do that process of the planting all the way from the seed to seal, the planting all the way through. So here's some more pictures. As Gary opened the valves and the first steam sizzled through the pipes, the cries of triumph from Gary and Uncle Jack were heard around the farm. So exciting. And then seeing the first steam was a moment of great triumph for Gary. The old 25 HP boiler that Gary bought for $500 right down there. And then here's this picture, but I'm going to read this text here first. So, Gary found an abandoned 25 HP boiler that was left to rot in a farmer's field outside of St. Mary's, which he bought for $500. Hey, Peggy, it is wonderful. He had it cleaned and retubed and then began assembling everything for the big moment of production. When the boiler fired and the steam sizzled through the pipes into the cooker, the cheering of triumph was heard around the farm. Gary was continually thinking about distilling and mentally making new designs for the extraction chambers, condensers, and separators. He had a different idea about the steam delivery into the chamber, so he drew out his plan and had the new delivery design fabricated. He wanted the steam to travel through the plant material in a circular motion so that there would be a more even and better penetration of the steam that would carry the oil vapor with the steam up and into the condenser. The water discharge pipes from the condenser were built with PVC pipe because PVC is lighter to move and cheaper than steel. But what a learning experience it was when the next morning after the first distillation, Gary found that the pipes had collapsed and stuck together because of the heat from the steam and condenser water. Naturally, the PVC pipe had to be replaced with steel. Trial and error, my friends. He is the pioneer of essential oils in the United States for sure. And he learned, those of you that missed the previous chapters, I will have them up on YouTube, hopefully by the end of the week. They're on Facebook now on my business page. But if you've heard the stories previously, it's been trial and error all the way through to get to this point. Every aspect of the harvest and distillation was important to him because he knew that it all had to work in harmony to achieve the best results. Each crop was different, so he made many adjustments and modified his system according to what he saw. The early years of harvesting and distilling brought about many changes from the traditional old ways to new, innovative, and more efficient production methods. The more discoveries he made, the more his head spun with ideas, and the more Gary's Art of Distillation evolved. So that last picture there on this page, Mary thought that the aesthetic look of the distillery was wanting, so on went the paint. And even Gary loved the beautification, although it didn't help produce any more oil. Mary wanted it to look nicer. Leave it to one of us females, right? I think that's kind of cute. Machinery for harvesting aromatic plants did not exist in the U.S., so Gary was constantly buying equipment that he had to modify. He imported an old lavender harvester from France for St. Mary's that worked quite well, making the harvest a dream in comparison to cutting by hand the first year and then by modifying sickle bar mower the second year. The harvester worked very well for the small acreage in St. Mary's, but when lavender went into production in Utah, the need for another machine became necessary. Gary drew the blueprints, and the men in the fabrication shop in Mona went to work to build an even better harvester. Gary was always designing equipment to make harvest more efficient, and that kept the Utah fabrication shop very busy. He could look at a piece of equipment, see how it worked, and make changes that improved production, often fabricating out of necessity. After all, there was no money to buy farm equipment that cost tens of thousands of dollars. Besides, there was little, if any, equipment even available in the U.S. for planting or harvesting aromatic plants. Again, pioneering. So here's the picture at the top. And that is the first lavender harvester that Gary designed was from a hay sickle bar mower, which didn't work as he had hoped. And then here we go. The lavender harvester that Gary imported from France in 2004. Do you see that little thing on the side there, right there? I love farming. I grew up from farming. My parents were farmers. So I grew up on my grandparents' farms in this visiting. Isn't the lavender pretty, Melody? It is. And there's a difference. Do you see the variegation in the color? Let me show you that. This is a teaching moment. See the variegation in the color of the field? See all the different colors of purple? Let me get it way up there. That is Lavandula augustifolia. And do you see how the mounds of the lavender are shorter? There's a ton of hybrids of lavender. Lavanden being one of those. And the lavanden is beautiful, taller, bushier, all perfect in all one color, beautiful purple color. That's a lavanden field, not necessarily Lavandula augustifolia or our lavender that we use that is of the purest form to do all the wonderful things we know it to do. So it's kind of fun to get to know the plants as you get to know the farming. So all of you that are watching this video later, thanks for being interested. It's kind of fun for me to share this whole story with you. Mechanizing the planting machine. In the beginning, many members came to help. In 1993, 94 members planted 45,000 lavender plants in the unusual freezing cold spring month of May. However, this just wasn't fast enough and would never meet Gary's production goals. So he started designing again. Christy, it is awesome and so interesting. Thank you. Gary and his uncle Jack Young, who died in 2001, built the first planting machine that was pulled by a tractor. There were 3 seats on the back with small platforms next to the seat for the trays, so machine and plant 3 rows at the same time. Are you picturing this? Greatly increasing the number of starts planted every day. It was very rewarding for Gary to go from his crew of 8 people who had worked so hard to plant 1,500 starts by hand in 10 hours to just 3 people planting 1,500 starts per hour and 1 more person operating the tractor. Hey, Robin. Oh, Tansy. One summer afternoon in 1994, while walking from the house down to the dirt road to the distillery, Gary found it enticing, so Gary decided to distill it and see what it would do. It had a low yield, but it appeared that flying insects didn't like it, so it seemed like it would be good for experimenting. The experiment again. Wild tansy was abundant in fields and ditches, and farmers were very happy to have it cut and taken away. So it soon became a good wildcrafting crop. Wildcrafting means it's not farmed, that it's found wild, and then we cut it and utilize it for aromatherapy. The animals, especially the horses, loved it when the botflies came charging. As Gary watched everyone cut by hand and using sickle bar mowers, he realized it was time to look for mechanized equipment and bigger trucks to haul the material. So here is some more pictures. Oh, I've turned my page. Tansy was first cut by hand in 1994. Upgrading to a tractor was a great improvement, of course. And then here's a good picture. Mary would pack lunch in the morning and they'd leave at 5 a.m. for the fields and come back at dark to help with the distilling. Gary operated the chopper, plowing chopped tansy into the truck, and laughed a lot as Mary enthusiastically swapped up and down the hills, even though her rows weren't as straight as he would have liked. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Here's the bottom picture. Gary discovered that chopping the tansy didn't hurt the oil and increased the production 5 times. It was faster, more efficient, and was definitely less taxing on the back muscles. So fun to see the journey. Just a few more pages we're going to go through today, and then we will stop for next week. This next part is called the Art of Distillation, and I really think this is an important part. And why this is important, I hope you watch this video all the way through, and I'll put in the description to watch this part, because this is what explains how we get our oils. Okay, so I'll show you a picture, but I'm going to read it first. The mechanics of distillation are about the same. First, you have a boiler or heating source for the water to produce steam that flows into the cooker or distilling chamber in which the plant material is packed. Steam travels up through the material, causing the plant membranes to open and release the oil vapor, which is carried up with the steam in the condenser, where the steam and oil begin to separate as they convert back from a gas phase into a liquid phase and flow into the separator. Oil droplets bubble up through the separator to the top of the water as the oil accumulates. It can be poured off into a container. The art of distillation is in knowing all the details, but how would one even begin without the aptitude and a good teacher? It takes years of experience, and finding an experienced teacher for this dying art is a big challenge. A good operator has to know how much water, the water temperature, how much plant material, how tightly it is packed, what size of an extraction chamber, how long to steam the material, and when to ramp temperature based on sound of steam coming from the chamber, which is a very fascinating aspect of distillation. The steam sings with different harmonic pitch. As it moves up through the plant material, it must be even constant. If the pitch is not consistent, the temperature is not ramped soon enough, or ramped too fast, the chamber will flood, causing reflux and homogenization. And the oil will fall back into the plant material and usually cannot be recovered. Any oil that is recovered will most likely be scorched and will certainly be missing many important oil compounds. Every aspect of distillation can make a difference in the oil quality. The design of the distillery, temperature of the water going into the boiler, and the water purity. Then, of course, the seed quality, the soil pH and nutrients, planting, cultivating, time of harvest, bricks testing, curing time if needed, and so many more intricate details all affect the quantity and quality of the oil produced. Distillation is truly an art acquired through meticulous study, experimentation, and knowledge of plants and farming. Gary Young is the pioneer of aromatherapy and distillation in America for sure, and learned from the best teachers in France and Egypt and all around the world. So with that, does that explain to you how important it is to know what company you are getting your oil from? Do you get that? I hope so. Here's the distillation model. So number 1, water is reheated and the minerals removed. Number 2, the boiler turns the water into steam. Number 3, the plant material is loaded into the cooker. Number 4, steam travels up through the plant material, releasing the oil vapor. Number 5, steam carries the oil vapor into the condenser, where they both return to a liquid state and separate. And number 6, in the separator, the oil rises to the top, where it is drained off. Last part. Convention of 1999 brought members to the farm to see their first distillation process. Okay, so if you've seen pictures of convention today, last year we had 30,000 people at convention for Young Living. Look at 1995's convention. Oh my God, it's beautiful. So, last but not least, can individuals learn to do this form from a book? Do you think you can learn this from a book? Well, perhaps the very basic can be learned, and possibly a distillation could be started, but one will never learn the art from a book. Learning the art of distillation takes years of experience with logical thinking, trial and error, learning the many facets of farming, the exactness of mechanical functionality, and an analytical and creative mind. It is a combination of skill that few people have. Gary learned many of the fundamental skills growing up on farming. Having to figure out how to fix old equipment trucks, trying to figure out the best way to get the job done, what worked and didn't work, and what, quote, just made plain good sense. That's why we have an oil named Common Sense. The fact that he lived in the mountains and logged horses was just an added benefit. There weren't many calculators, adding machines, computers, or internet. Hey, Robin. Thank you. I love sharing. So it's fun for me, right? I love this story. It's like it touched my heart. The core and root to his company. Oh, good, Melody. I'm so glad you ordered Common Sense. You liked that one when you heard the name of it. Everything was done by hand or figured into the head with mental calculations along with hours of hard physical work. I have to say, you never see Gary Young without a notebook. He's got one in his pocket, his back pocket, somewhere there's a notebook with him. All that he learned in his youth gave him a tremendous advantage as the skills came together because of his passion to learn the art of distillation. With every crop, every harvest, and every distillation, more was learned, and the new information increased Gary's knowledge about many facets of the seed-to-seal process. If you don't know about that, my friends, go to seed2seal.com. I think it is, it might .org. I'll have to look at it. What was known became very exact as the years of farming and distillation continued. Today, there is less trial and error and more knowing about why different things happen and what to do to solve the difficulties of a given situation. Perhaps the challenge and opportunity to make new discoveries with a complete new list of questions to be asked and answered is part of what drives Gabe's pioneering spirit. His quest to bring new and exciting additions to young living is a driving force in his life. And there we end today's Stories Come Alive, the Deary Young story, the world leader in essential oils. And all of you that are watching that are young living users, thanks for joining me. All of you that are new to essential oils and want to know the truth, keep watching my YouTube channel. Have a beautiful day, and I'll put a ton of links that you can learn more from at the bottom of this video. All right, have a good one, and I'll catch you again next Monday at noon. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the little bell so you get notified when I'm live. Okay, bye Kathleen, bye Melody, have a great day you guys. Bye Christy, bye Robin, bye Sue. Have a good one, and thanks for joining me today.